Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and grandmas of all ages. Welcome to the Prediction Show. Tonight we have myself, Ian, we have the resident scouse in Phil, and we have a depressed gunner, or gooner, however you want to pronounce it, in Mike. He should be depressed because his team are rubbish, but he shouldn't be depressed because he's still ahead. If you haven't already, go back and watch last week's episode. You can see our predictions. Which turns out that Phil got 2 points. I got 2 points. And Mike got 3 points. So there is.
Away.
Our
VAR sucks.
Yeah, so that's it pretty much. Good night. No, we've got some more predictions to make. Unfortunately, Phil being Scouse has ruined it because his team are not playing. So that means West Ham have got a week reprieve and we've got to choose other fixtures. So
Your players need the rest, Ian.
what the,
I wish we had
in fairness, I'm quite happy for the rest. I'm sure it will reinvigorate us just to get drummed 5-0 by you.
Yeah.
Well, we're off to get
But-
this hand.
Yeah, but there is one team that is still playing, and that team being Arsenal. They're playing Everton at home.
Yep.
Everton are at home to Arsenal, who are playing away. We'll have their new manager in the dugout, in Carlo Angelotti. So I believe both of you got that prediction wrong for the bonus point.
Yep.
Phil did, just before we started recording, say about his bonus point for Pellegrini staying beyond the week. So he'll get that next week. Which is quite concerning. It only puts him 9 points behind me. So I'm not particularly happy about that. But Mike, do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of what you think is going to happen in the Everton-Arsenal game? Being an Everton fan, you should be an Everton fan. Being an Arsenal fan, and then give us your prediction.
Yeah, so we're away to Everton. Our away form is diabolical. Our home form is diabolical.
Something has just collapsed. I'm not sure what it is.
My soul. It's
It's your league position.
we're dreadful. We're dreadful away. We're dreadful at home.
Not as bad as us. We still take that title off you. I fight you for it.
Oh, mate. I think last week just kind of papered over the cracks a little bit with West Ham being in a similar sort of position or similar run of form as what we're going through at the moment. But yeah, I can't see anything other than a loss away from home.
A loss away
I really
from home. No one likes to hear that. Now, do you think that Ancelotti will create more problems for you, or do you think there's a potential to capitalise on that new manager coming in and trying to put his system in?
Well, we saw last week with Everton when Big Dunk went into the dugout, just the passion and the energy that he brought to Everton. And I think with a permanent fixture in place, with a manager as quality as Angelotti, I think it's only going to be a bigger bounce potentially this time. I mean, granted, with yourself and I have just looked on Sky Sports and we've just seen that it's got an interim agreement in place, but Big Dunk's going to have one last game. And is Ancelotti going to then have enough time to make any sort of his stamp on the game? Probably not, but I don't think it really matters because we're crap. So I'm going to put this down as a 2-1 loss on that one, I think.
A 2-1 loss. Phil, what about yourself?
So, Everton, have been playing a lot better. They're an invigorated team. They've got a bit of passion behind them. They've got the legend at the helm. Was at the helm. We'll see what happens as this week progresses. You've got Arsenal, who seem to have no game plan. Have got players lacking the passion and the intensity that they should have. Defence that panics. I think it's going to be the hallmarks of an interesting game to watch from a neutral perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike's going to be pained once more. He's going to be crying before half time. And I think I'm going to go to Everton 2, Arsenal 1.
Well, live match your scoreline, so it's 3 for 3. We've all gone for an Everton win 2-1.
I don't see how we can get anything from it. Well, this is it. I mean, you look at our goal difference this year; we're absolutely shocking.
You need
but
a left
the worst
back.
part about it is, the worst part about it is that during the summer, Lacazette and Aubameyang top scorer last season, or joint top scorer last season.
Joint.
Yep.
Yeah, shut up. Lacazette was banging in goals. We had other people within the team that were banging in goals. Obviously, Ramsey left. We said we needed, or we didn't need, but we managed to get Pepe in, who we've seen glimpses of. But I said to you, didn't I, that it was kind of like a bit of a false or a red herring on this one, just because it was like, is he actually going to kick on from it? And I did make the comment that he should have a run of games within the team, but again, I just didn't see anything from him. I mean, you look at the places that we've got Martinelli, Aubameyang, Pepe. They are all lightning quick, yet we cannot make chances.
They can't play well together, can they?
I don't get it.
And that's why you're 3 points above West Ham, who are struggling.
At least, the one good thing is, Mike, you cannot go behind West Ham this week.
No, we can't.
Yeah, but they'll have a game in hand. So
but we're playing Liverpool, so we'll get on to that next week. Moving on from our depressed gunner, that is why he's known as that, to City are hosting Leicester, which could be the battle for second. Well, I say could be. It is the battle for second place. We'll start off with Phil. Do you want to give us just a couple of brief thoughts and then your score?
Yeah. So for me, this is the game that's going to be interesting this week. Second and third playing against each other. City have come back, scoring goals, had a great game the weekend, but they're still lacking in defence, I think. They've still got some weaknesses, and Leicester have got Jamie Vardy, who can take advantage of those weaknesses quite well. And I think he's a strong player and knows how to bully defences, so he'll give City some run around.
Yep.
But then City themselves love the possession game. So does Leicester in that respect. There'll be quite a midfield battle, but I think there will also be some goals in them. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. I think there's more goals in them than 1-1. I've gone 3-3. I think if Manchester City are playing at their best like they was against Arsenal last weekend, then they can score goals, but they're also still a little bit fragile at the back, and I think Leicester have got the goals in them to capitalise on that. So 3-3 from me. But Mike?
Plain and simple, I'm going to go for 3-2 to Manchester City. I think if Man City are anything like they played against us yesterday, they're definitely going to get goals. But as you boys already alluded to, they are a little bit, leaky at the back. They have conceded goals in the last few weeks. We couldn't do anything against them just because we're so crap. But I think Leicester will, with Jamie Vardy in the form that he's in, Kevin De Bruyne with the form that he's in, I don't think it's going to be as low scoring as what Phil says. But I think City will have the edge and they'll close the gap. And I think, they're going to win 3-2.
Fair enough.
Close the gap to what, second?
Mate, you're talking a big game now. When you fall apart after Christmas.
We shall see.
We'll move on to a game that I think is hated by all of us. Me and Mike more so than Phil, but I would imagine being a football fan, he doesn't like either of these teams. We are going Spurs versus Chelsea. So we've got Jose Mourinho versus Lampard. Lampard, who I think is on the crux of maybe losing some of the Chelsea fans, and possibly his job, depending on how Roman Abramovich looks at it. I have gone quite simply for 2-1 to Chelsea, just because I think Mourinho will have a bit more tactical surprises. He's been in the job longer. He knows Lampard very well. I'm sure they'll get on. They have a catch up after the game, but I'm still going that he's gonna lead Spurs to victory, which is not something I want to say very often. But 2-1. Mike.
Well, being the fellow London club, for these two, no one likes to see Spurs doing well. It was far more enjoyable when they were under Pochettino a few weeks ago and they were getting beaten, drawing. They do have a new lease of life about them. They just look like a new team, a team possessed, which is very worrying. Considering we could have closed the gap on them yesterday had we got a result out of them, but we didn't. But I think Chelsea, they're having a bit of a dip in form, but I think this will be the game that they will get something. I don't necessarily think they'll win, so I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and there's going to be goals.
Very good. And Phil, what would your prediction be for that game?
So, what can I say? I don't want anyone to win this game, but someone has to. And I would love for no one to win it and be a nice, boring draw for you both. But I'm going to go for a Spurs 2-0 over Chelsea, and that's just going on recent form. Chelsea seem to be lacking goals at the moment. There seems to be something missing. Their creativity is not there. What they were playing at the weekend was awful, trying to play it out from the defence, who just couldn't pass the ball and wasting so much opportunities. And then you've got Tottenham, who are, as Mike says, totally in form at the moment. They've got Mourinho, who's sorted them out, and they've got goals in them. They've got a lot of goals in them, so I think it's going to go their way. Yeah,
fair enough. So we've made our predictions for this week. I'm hoping that I'll win, because I want to pull that lead out from Phil a little bit more.
I want to win and claw it back.
We did mention at the tail end of last week's episode about the Ballon d'Or results. So we've gone back and had a look, because I can't find the bit of paper that I wrote those on. But we were given 3 points out if we got the person in first right, 2 points out for the person in second, and 1 point out for the person in third. Other than that, if they was in the wrong order, nothing. So me and Mike both agreed that this year Van Dijk would win.
I'm gutted because I should have gone with my.
We both put a certain Lionel Messi at number 2. So they were both in the list, but in the wrong order. So we do get 0 points. Mike got close with the top 3. He got 2 of the top 3 and 3 of the top 4 because he went with Sadio Mane, and I went with Robert Lewandowski.
Really?
Has scored a lot more than Messi this year. He's assisted a lot more than Messi this year. How he finished did blow him, I do not know. But hey ho, that's the Ballon d'Or for you.
Everyone finished below Messi, didn't they?
Definitely not political.
It is political. It's media based. But hey ho, we're not the media yet. Yet. So we do gain a lovely 0 points from that result. Nil point. That's the words I was looking for. That has been it for the prediction show this week. As we said, go back and look at last week's if you want to see where our points come from. But until then, we'll see you later on.
Thanks very much, guys.
Hi guys, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe. See you next time.